الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى من والاه أما بعد. After praising Allah and sending salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with the permission of Allah, we'll start the second session of our series, Revising Ramadan. So before we move forward, let me ask you one question. What is the meaning of Siyam? Fasting. Good, okay. What is the literal meaning of Siyam? Shield. Okay. Good try. Abstaining. Imtina. Yes. Yeah, abstaining and imtina. Stopping somebody from something. So this is the Siyam. So based on that one, can somebody say what was the fasting of Maryam alayhi salatu wassalam?
Not to talk.
Not to talk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about that, Inni nadartu lirrahmani sawma. That she said that I promised to Ar-Rahman, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I am fasting. And what was her fasting? Not to talk to the people, illa ramza, except with actions. She can just say something, like act, and she can point out something. But she was not allowed to speak. So her fasting was not to talk. So the meaning of fasting is, the literal meaning is just to abstain from something, stop from something. So this is the literal meaning. And when it comes to the Sharia of Islam, so then that goes forward that abstaining from food and drink and marital relationship from Tulu'ul Fajr. Tulu'ul Fajr, not Tulu'ul Shams, Tulu'ul Fajr till the sunset. So Tulu'ul Fajr means the starting of the Salatul Fajr time till the sunset. So you abstain from this. So this is the Shara. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. So what we are going to do now, for this fasting, just few virtues we just mentioned to motivate ourselves, and then we'll go into the deep topic about why there is a difference of opinions about doing the Eid following Makkah or Medina, or taking the astronomical calculations. We'll go into that one, inshallah. So among the fadail of the Siyam, fasting, as our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us, that it is one of the greatest worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best way to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reward of it is bila hudud, without any limits. Without any limits, subhanallah. As all of us know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kullu amal ibn Adam lah ila siyam." So every action human being does, he'll get the reward of it, except fasting. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he fasted for me, so I'm going to reward him. So Allah has kept the reward. So Allah has kept to give the reward when you are in need of that. And to the limit which Allah knows best. Whatever suits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For other actions, Allah says, yes, you'll get this, you'll get that. But for fasting, it is for me. And that's why when you are fasting, the manners has been taught to us not to fight, not to argue. If you are forced to fight or argue, you just say I'm fasting and you just be quiet and just leave that gathering. So these are the manners we have been taught. And then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, as an honor of the fasting person, because Allah is giving this great reward, the manners has been taught. So as the reward, the Prophet ﷺ, as an honor, the Prophet ﷺ said that وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ لَخَلُوفُ فَمِ الصَّائِمِ أَطْيَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مِنْ رِيحِ الْمِسْكِ. Because of long fasting, not eating, sometimes your mouth smells. So the Prophet ﷺ said this smell is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment than the fragrance of misk, the best fragrance. So it's better than that, as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said. And then the fasting person will have two happy movements. One, at the time when he is breaking the fast, because after he's fasting, he's breaking the fast to having food, so he'll feel better, and then he has done one act of ibadah, and that act of ibadah is coming to the end. He's getting this all great reward, so he feels happy about it. And the second moment is when he will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of us among those who are as-saimun. And the beauty of this fasting is that whoever fasts the whole month of Ramadan, seeking the reward of Allah, remember this. This is really, really important. Imanan wa ihtisaba, as the Prophet ﷺ said, with full belief that it is one of the pillars of Islam. It is the obligation Allah has placed upon me. This is the iman. And then ihtisaba, seeking the reward, that I will get this all reward. The Prophet ﷺ said his previous sins will be forgiven. So this is the reward. And then as an honor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said another thing. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that when a person, he fasts for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for one day, Allah will create the distance between him and the hellfire for how many years? 70 years. For 70 years. So for one fast. And there is a general fast, and imagine the fast of Ramadan. So that's why we have been encouraged to fast. And as an honor, in Jannah, when you will enter, you will have a VIP gate. VIP gate in Jannah, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, Inna fil jannati baban yuqalu lahu ar-rayyan. There is a door for the paradise. The name of it is known as ar-rayyan. Yadkhulu minhu as-saimun. Only fasting people will enter from it. So VIP entrance for those who fast. La yadkhulu minhu ahadun ghayrahum. None other will allow to go inside except the fasting people. And then it will be said to them, Aina as-saimun. Where are the fasting people? So they all will get up. Then they will enter from it. Once they all fasting people will enter, that VIP gate will be closed. So this is the great reward, because you will have the VIP treatment on the day of judgment. And there are many more virtues. To combine all of them, Ramadan is the best time as a training period, a training center. Because always we need the training as a human being. So it's the best time, so inshallah we should utilize it in the best manner. So these were a few of the virtues of fasting. Last week we did some of the virtues of the month of Ramadan. But today we did few of the virtues of fasting. Let's move now to moon sighting and the differences about the moon sighting. This is more like it needs much understanding and patience, inshallah. And when you listen all this, by the end, hopefully you will have all the questions answered, inshallah. But after that, if you have anything, I'll take it, inshallah. Okay? So, but what I want from you, some interaction and following the sequence, inshallah. But it's really simple as well, in one way. So what we'll do, we are going to divide this whole topic of the moon sighting into two parts, two major parts. The first part is what is the indicator which tells us Ramadan has started. What is the indicator which tells us Ramadan has started? So this is the first topic. The second topic is, can we use the indicator of another country in our country? So there are two different topics. The first is, what is the indicator itself? And the second is, can we use other countries' indicator or the sign in our country or not? So there are two different topics we are going to divide. Keeping these two divisions, let's go back to the indicator. What is the indicator to start the Ramadan? So it's called illah. In Arabic term, it's called the illah. Simple meaning is reason, indicator. For example, you are going to the salat or you did the wudu, and all of a sudden you pass the wind. What happens? Your wudu broke. So what you have to do, you have to go and do another wudu, isn't it? So your wudu is there, but when you pass the wind, finish. There's the indicator your wudu has broken. And like this, for wudu, to break the wudu, there might be 2-3 indicators. Okay? So it's called illah. So this illah, you have to understand is very carefully. This is really, really important illah, because this illah, this indicator, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the Sharia. You cannot create new illah. You cannot create new illah. So what is this illah indicator? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the illah is ar-ru'yah, the citation of the moon. So if you have seen that, so the seeing, the ru'yah, the scene, that you, if you see, then you will start the month. If you don't see, you don't start the month. Simple as this. If you see, you'll start the month. If you don't see, you don't start the month. So how does it? So look at the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ayah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهَرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever witnessed the month among you, it should fast. So when he said the witness, what is this witness? This is the ru'ya. How do you understand this is the citation? From the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَصُومُوا. If you see it, then you fast. If you sight the moon, then fast. So citation is the ru'ya. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَأَفْطِرُوا. And if you see again at the end of the month, then you stop fasting and you'll celebrate the Eid. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَقْدِرُوا لَهُ. So then the Prophet ﷺ said, if you could not see the citation, if you could not see the citation, the moon, because of the clouds, you could not see. So what the Prophet ﷺ said, then فَقْدِرُوا لَهُ, then make a guess. Make a guess. And we'll come to that one later on, what does it mean. But from this hadith, what we have learned is citation is the indicator to start the Ramadan. There is another hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "الشهر 29 فلا تصوموا حتى تروه فإن غم عليكم فأكملوا العدة 30." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the month is 29 days. On the 29th day, if you don't sight the moon, then you complete the 30 days. If you don't sight, what do? You complete the 30 days. Now what happens when we see this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about citation? So we understood that the indicator is the citation. Now let's take the astronomical calculations. Astronomy has, mashallah, it got advanced to very high extent. And as a Muslim, for our knowledge, there were so many astronomers from Islamic background. And not now, but from the time of Tabi'een. There were few famous astronomers coming and they did all these astronomical calculations and things. So there is a great link to the astronomy and Islamic world. But what does astronomy do? The Prophet the astronomy, what does it do? It calculates that above the horizon where you are living, whether the moon is there or not. So for example, on the 29th day you went to sight the moon, and there is a cloud, you could not see the moon. And then above the horizon, if there is a moon or not, you don't know. So this calculation, what it does, it calculates the stops of the moon and it says yes, it is there or it's not there. If it is there, it is like this many hours old, the moon. Whatever it is, they will tell you. So what astronomy does is they will tell you whether moon is present or not. Whether moon is present or not. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave the indicator, and the indicator is the ru'ya, citation. So citation is the indicator. The presence of moon is not the indicator. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in one of the hadiths, فَإِنْ حَالَ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُ, if between you and the moon comes what? Al-dhalam, the darkness, as-sahab, or the clouds. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ ثَلَاثِينَ يَوْمًا, then you complete the month 30 days. So when he said between you and the moon, cloud comes, is the moon present there or not? The Prophet ﷺ said, between you and the moon, between you and the moon, if the clouds come, if I say, between me and this clock, if the cloud comes, is the clock present there or not? How many of you think present or? All of us you think present? MashaAllah, so you are present then, huh? So this is present. So the Prophet ﷺ said, if between you and the moon, if the cloud comes, then complete the 30 days. So the presence of moon is not necessary. It is not that indicator that Ramadan has to start. The presence of moon is not. What it is? The citation. If you can't see it, then you have to complete the 30 days. Does it make sense? So that's why in Islam, in this matter, the matter of the citation, because the indicator from the Sharia, from the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is citation of the moon. So what do? You don't take the presence of the moon as a witness. Does it make sense? Okay. Now the question comes, what about we take the salat timings? You know, salat timings also comes from these calculations. When is the moon in the middle of the day? When the Salatul Asr is starting? When the sunrise is there? When the sunset is there? If you look at that, what is the indicator over there? The Prophet ﷺ said, when the sun is when the Fajr is started, the Salatul Fajr start and the Suhoor will stop. When the sun, Zawal finish, in the middle of the day, sun moves, then the Prophet says Zuhur start. When the shadow of the person is equal to 1 after the midday, at that time Asr start. When sun sets, Maghrib starts. When the Shafaq is finished, at that time Isha starts. In this all, the indicator is not go and see whether Fajr has started or not. Go and check, see whether the Zawal happened or not. No, the Prophet said when it is there. So in any means, whatever means, you will find out that the sun is in the middle of the day, so Zuhur is started. Does it make sense? So the indicator over there is different. So that's why we take over there, but in the matter of moon we don't take it, because this is the matter of ibadah. Does it make sense? It's very, very sharp difference here. Does it make sense? How many of you think it makes sense?
Makes sense.
Is it clear? Because if this is clear, then we can move forward. If it is there, we can repeat it again. So the presence of moon is not the indicator to start the month. The citation is the indicator to start the month. If you see on 29th, yes, you start. If you don't see on 29th, even the moon is there, because between moon and you there is a cloud. So then what do? You will complete the 30 days as per the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are many ahadith about that one. Not one, two, there are many ahadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. So it is clear why we don't take the astronomical calculation in the start of the month. And it is not only about fasting only. No, it's not about fasting. It's about fasting. It's about Hajj. It's about Iddah. And if somebody died, the women sit in the Iddah. Or if the women give birth, then they have to stay in. So this all Iddah, Ila, these all things are related to this one. So it's not only one or two. Ashura. So this all related to the citation of the moon. So it's not only a matter of the Ramadan, it's a matter more than that one. Okay? So far it is clear for us. The first issue is what is the indicator to start the Ramadan or any Islamic month. So Islamic month will start with the citation of the moon, not with the presence of the moon. With the citation of the moon, if we don't see it, we will complete 30 days. So this is the first part. Let's go to the second part now. The second part is really, really important as well. And that is, can we use the citation of another place to our place? For example, some of the people, they stood in London and they saw the moon there. Can that citation is enough for us? Is it enough, or we have to see our own? This is a question mark. Or somebody in Morocco, they have seen the moon, or in Africa, or in anywhere in the world. Or do we have to see our own? So here, first of all, among the scholars, those who said, when Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you sight the moon, you start the month. So they said this khitab, this speech of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is to ummah, to whole ummah. So whoever said this is to the ummah, they said among the ummah, if one person see the moon anywhere, and if that news come to us in the beneficial time, then we will fast. Because the speech of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the ummah. But some people say, no, it's not for the ummah, it's for the group, for that particular area. So if those who said, they said, no, then because the horizon change, so the citation also changed. This is what the other group said. But let's come back. And what is the main hadith which creates the difference between this? This event happened. One of the slave of Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala an, his name was Quraib. He went to Syria in Ramadan. And he came back in the middle of the end of the month. He came back. So when he came back, he started telling Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala an about his journey, what happened, the events and things. So while they were talking, they discussed about Ramadan. They said, oh, by the way, when you started the Ramadan? So he said, we have sighted the moon on Friday night, and we started fasting the next day. And he said, did you see the moon? He said, yeah, I've seen, people have seen. So we all fasted. Amir Muawiyah was at that time the Khalifa of the believers, so he also fasted. So we all fasted. So then the slave asked him the question, reverse question. He said, when did you start the fasting? So he said, but no, we saw the moon on Saturday. On Saturday, not on Friday, on Saturday. So based on our citation, we started from Sunday. So we'll carry on like this. On 29th, we'll see the moon. If we don't see it, we'll complete 30. Otherwise, on 29th, after 29th, we'll make the Eid. So the slave replied and he asked the question. He said, oh, the citation of Amir Muawiyah in Syria, is it not enough for you because the slave went to Syria and this speech and dialogue is happening in Medina? So he said, is it not enough what they have seen? So he said, no. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ has commanded us. So this whole incident is the dalil for both groups. Those who said you can and those who said you cannot. For both of them, this is the dalil. Okay? Those who said you cannot, they simply said, look, Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala did not take the citation of Syria while he was in Medina. So when he did not say Sahabi, he did not take it. So why should we take it? So we are not allowed to take. So every country would have their own citation. This is one group said. Another group said, no. The meaning of Abdullah bin Abbas is not that one. The meaning of him is the news of the starting of the Ramadan did not reach them in the beneficial time. Because Amir Muawiyah was the Khalifa. And if he announced tomorrow is Eid or tomorrow is Ramadan starting, so you have to follow him whether you see it or not. Because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "As-sawma yawma tasumun wal-Eid yawma tuftirun." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the fasting is the day you all fast. Means if the government announce that tomorrow is fasting, so you all need to fast. If they say tomorrow is Eid, you all need to do it, regardless whether you see the moon or not. So based on that one, they said the news reached to Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala an, that reach in the time we did not benefit him because it was end of the month. That's why he didn't take it. But if the news had reached him in a beneficial time, then he would have taken. Does it make sense? So how they have taken, the both group have taken the dalil from the same incident. So now we'll come to UK. And what does it relate to us? And it's really important. And it creates a lot of issues. For some people, it is the matter of the logic. So for some people, it is a matter of what your faith is, your aqidah is, your belief is, your sharia is. So this is a big difference. And in many houses, there is a firing. The children are fasting one day, parents are fasting another day, they are celebrating Eid another day. This all happening. But we need to understand this, and we need to come not with this group, not with that group. We should come with the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what happened in UK? It is impossible because of the location, geographical location of UK, to sight the first day of the moon. Impossible. It's not possible at all. So what will happen if you go back to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Then you have to do every month 30 days. Every month 30 days. So what will happen? All the rest of the world will be 6 or 7 days ahead of us all the time, because half of the year is 29 days, half of the is 30 days. So these 29 always you have to do 30. So what you have to do, you have to take the benefit of this ikhtilaf. Can we take the citation of others or not? So in this case, yes, we should take it. We should take it. Why? Because these days the news will reach to us in the time which benefit us. And this is the matter with all the fuqaha of Ahnaf. Imam Abu Hanifa and those who follow his school, this is the fatwa. They say, no. If anybody see the moon in anywhere in the world, and if the news reach to them in beneficial time, that all of them should fast and all of them should celebrate the Eid. And many other scholars are with that. So for UK, British people, this is the most safest thing. Because you cannot take from here, because you cannot see it at all throughout the year, the first day of the moon. If you could see some months and some months not, then we can say, okay, we will make it 30 days. But you cannot see at all. So this is one thing. Now, so far are we clear? Is it clear? Inshallah? Okay. Now let's take another step ahead. Okay, if we can take the other country, then which country it should be?
Saudi.
Should be Saudi, Morocco, Africa, Pakistan?
Closest country.
Huh?
Closest country.
Closest country, the brother has said. Whoever said this, they all have their own proofs. Because he's from Pakistan, he wants to follow Pakistan. Okay. So, what is this? Which country we should take? So it goes back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. There are two hadiths. One is the hadith related to Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ said, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَقْدِرُوا لَهُ. If it is covered with the cloud, the moon, between moon and you, the cloud comes, فَقْدِرُوا لَهُ. Make a guess. So what is this guess? So some of the scholars says the closest country, as the brother has said there. Closest country. Closest country where Muslims are in majority or they are the rulers. So you will take ru'ya of that one. And another thing, another hadith is there similar. And look at the beauty of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Dajjal will come, what will happen? With his powers which has been given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will prolong the night by 6 months or the day by 6 months. Just to make people show them, look, I am the God. Believe me. So what is the sign? He said, look, I made the full 6 month day, 1 day, or 6 month a night. So look, the concern, whoever have whatever concern they have, they will ask this question. If some of the friends who love the food, so they would have asked about the food. How many times we'll eat in that 1 day, huh? Or something like this. But Sahaba's concern was something else. You know what did they ask? O Prophet of Allah, what about the Salat? Because the Salat is for 5 times in a day. So if the day is for 6 months long, how we should pray? So the Prophet ﷺ said, same thing, have a guess. Where should we do the guess? To the closest time, the last time when you have proper timing, to that one, or closest country, or Makkah al-Mukarramah and Medina. Why Makkah al-Mukarramah and Medina? This is another thing. The closest country, because they are close to you, that's why you just have a guess on it, or Makkah or Medina. Why Makkah and Medina, and not the closest country? Because there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which the Prophet ﷺ said that there will be a time coming when the entire world will be ruled from Medina. From Medina. The entire world will be ruled from Medina. So it goes back to that story of Qurayb and Abdullah bin Abbas. Why? What did the other group say? Why Abdullah bin Abbas rejected? They said because the news did not reach in the beneficial time. So what they said, when it will be ruled, and if the Hakim say at that time that tomorrow is Ramadan, and the news reached to you, as a Muslim, you have to obey the Hakim. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, As-sawm yawma tasumun. When the command comes and all of you fast, at that day the fasting will start. So at that time you will forget about your local citation. You will just go back to Makkah and Medina. So based on that one, the highly priority has been given to Makkah and Medina. But the dalil for Makkah and Medina, for the closest country, is the same. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, have a guess. Where do I have a guess? Okay, you'll have a guess to the closest country. I'll have guess to the Makkah. Why Makkah is Manba'ut Tawheed? It is started. The Islamic teaching started from there. When the Prophet ﷺ came. This all, and then the indication that at the end, that when Dajjal will come, Medina will be safe from the fitna of Dajjal. He can enter everywhere, but not in Medina. The anfaq, the tunnels of the Medina will be guarded by the angels, the Prophet ﷺ. So it will be secure, safe. So that's why Makkah and Medina. This is the reason the scholars have given the priority to Makkah and Medina over the closest country. So this goes back to what we should do in UK. So we should go. At present, what we know from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the most ahwat, the most practical and closest to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is to either take Makkah and Medina or the closest country. When you go to the closest country, again, lot of issues. Okay, we'll take Morocco, we'll take some of the people say no, we'll take Africa. Because Africa is on the same line, and so they said we'll take Africa. There is a system. So if you left on that one, everybody will say my country. So as the brother said, Pakistan there. Okay, so everybody will say like this. But if you say Makkah and Medina, everybody will stop, because you have to understand is that one day the whole people will go and the believers will go and stick to Makkah and Medina, and the rule will go from there. The leading will be from Makkah and Medina, and everybody will follow that. Based on that one, that is the strongest opinion. Based on that one, everybody will go back to Makkah and Medina. So the best thing and the most practical thing in UK is to go with Makkah and Medina. What about astronomical calculations? If you go to Makkah and Medina, compare that Makkah and Medina and astronomical calculations. Now, what is the difference between these two? Astronomical calculations are innovation in this matter, because it is not the indicator in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The Quran and the Sunnah says the citation. If you take Makkah and Medina, are you following the indicator which the Prophet ﷺ has given or not? You are following. If you follow the astronomical calculation, are you following the indicator which the Prophet ﷺ has said? No, you are not following. So that's why the ikhtilaf happens. Because of that, people prefer, and they use all sorts of excuses like, oh, we use for salat, so why not for fasting? So the reason is, for the salat, the indicator is different than the fasting, and this indicator, the illah, is given by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in Sharia. So we cannot introduce some new illah in our Sharia. That is not our job. We are not allowed to do that. So that's why the most closest to the Quran and Sunnah is to go for the ru'yah, and better to go for Makkah and Medina whenever they fast, whenever they do the Eid, the same if we follow. So because a lot of indications, as I have mentioned. So to conclude now again, in few points, ru'yah is the indicator, the citation is the indicator, and astronomical calculations just give us the presence of moon. So the presence of moon is not the indicator. The ru'yah, the citation, is the indicator. So the Prophet ﷺ said, even the moon is present, but if it is behind the clouds, then you need to complete 30 days. So the presence of moon is not. And you can take the ru'yah of other countries from the same ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ. If we just take the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, if you see, so that you means the whole ummah, that's it. Because nobody has restricted it. So that's why, and that will bring the whole ummah together. There is high chances all of us will start Ramadan same day if we follow this method, and then all of us can celebrate the Eid. So that will show the power of the ummah as it happens at the time of Hajj. People come from all around the world, and the beautiful gathering and beautiful ibadah take place. And the best example, and many people at that time follow Makkah and Medina. But when it comes to Ramadan, they go back to astronomical calculations again. And in that case, the day of Arafah, the Prophet ﷺ has given a lot of virtue to the day of Arafah. Said that shaitan will be humiliated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give whatever people are asking that day. People fast, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask angels what they are doing. So they say, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are asking forgiveness. So Allah says, did they see me? So angels say, no, they didn't see. So what about if they have seen me? So they say, okay, they will believe more, they will ask more forgiveness. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the angels, give them the glad tidings, that I am giving them whatever they are asking for and more. And these all virtues are of the day of Arafah. If we follow this, then entire world, the Muslims, will be on the day of Arafah fasting, not one day before or one day after. Because it is not only the 9th day or the date, it's about the place as well where the Hujjaj are standing. So to conclude this all, that in this whole matter of citation of the moon, the calculations, astronomical calculations, are out of the talk. So they are not from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and it is not something new. It's not something new. One of the Tabi'i, I forgot his name, he said at that time all the calculations, and he said moon will be present at that day, at that time. Tabi'i, who were at the time of Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu, but they rejected him. They said, no, we do not take it because the Prophet ﷺ has said this. So based on this all, the best is to follow the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us tawfiq. And if anybody have any question, we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll stop here, inshallah, for today.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, there is one question with the brother, then I will take the sisters. Yeah.
What about if it happens the other way around? So if the astronomical calculation said the moon cannot be present at that time, but you find someone in somewhere say that I've seen the moon, so, which according to science it shouldn't be there. So who should we follow?
Okay. Then it leads to another issue, that if only one person have seen the moon and none of them, so what that person should do. So at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this happened. Second day, when people were on normal time, normal eating, a man came and informed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have sighted the moon. One person came, and none of the people in Medina, they have seen the moon. Only one person came. Prophet ﷺ said, go and make announcement, whoever is doing whatever they are in, stop it and carry on fasting from that day. So because that only one person said, they have taken. So in the start of the month, the scholar said, if one person come, his witness is more stronger than anything else. So it will go back to another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which the Prophet ﷺ said that fasting is the day when everybody fasts. The Eid is the day when everybody do the Eid. So if the ruler, the authority accepted him, one person, and they said tomorrow is the Eid, then we all should follow him. Because as per the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ, we are safe. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is going to give the reward, not us. We cannot decide whose Eid is correct and whose Eid is not correct. It is Allah who will decide. So in that case, if the authority accepted him, then we will follow the authority. If the authority say no, we will not accept him, we will do 30 days, complete 30 days, then we will complete 30 days. Inshallah. Yes, sister.
I was going to ask about the prayer. You know, in Ramadan, about Fajr and Suhoor. Because we have like loads of mosques and it differs, so like I don't know if it's the same topic or a different topic.
Jazakumullah khair. Very good question and very relevant topic. Same thing, same principle is there, and very good. Jazakumullah khair for reminding this. It's really good. You know, the starting of the Salatul Fajr and Salatul Isha, similar principle, but slightly different because the indication is different. The indication is different. So what happened? The Prophet ﷺ said, when the As-Subh As-Sadiq starts, at that time Salatul Fajr starts. You have to stop eating. And when the Shafaq, the twilights goes away from the sky, at that time Salatul Isha starts. In UK, like 3-4 months, there is no, like the twilight never disappears from the sky. Whole night it remains till Fajr. And there is no sign for Salatul Fajr as well. With that twilight, straight away Salatul Fajr starts. So those signs are missing. So what do? So you go back to the فَقْدِرُوا لَهُ قَدْرًا. Again, have a guess. So in that guess, it goes back to few things. Have a guess in the nearest country, have a guess in Makkah and Medina, and have a guess the routine of the Prophet ﷺ. So there is a routine of the Prophet ﷺ as well. What they did, they checked the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, how he spent his night. So they said the Prophet ﷺ used to sleep half of the night, and he used to pray like 1/3 of the night, and then he takes small nap, and then he start for Salatul Fajr. So they took whole routine of the Prophet ﷺ, and then the scholar said, okay, we'll divide the night into 6 divisions. 6. So when, before the sunrise, one part is left, at that time Fajr will start. And when the last one is remain, like after sunset, the one is passed, at that time Isha will start. Does it make sense? So they divided the night into the 6. But same scholars, few of them said, no, it's not 6, it's 8. And they have their own proof for 8. So when they said 6 and 8, 20-minute difference for Salatul Fajr and Salatul Isha both. Okay. And some of the masajid, they said, we'll follow in this matter Makkah. So in Makkah, normally Salatul Fajr, before sunrise, between 1 hour 20 minutes and 1 hour 30 minutes. And Salatul Isha after sunset, 1 hour 20 and 1 hour 30. And for a long time in our masjid, we used to follow this. 1 hour 20 and 1 hour 30. Okay, so this is another matter. But in this regard, there is another way. And that is, because the rest of the month you can see when the Salatul Isha is starting and when the Salatul Fajr is starting. So there is a graph available for 8 months, only 4 months missing. So what we did, we kept that graph. There were a few brothers, brother Ismail from Saudi, Jarevi something, brother Ismail, brother Abu Muaz, Ayman from Sudan, and few more brothers from Isaac, Newcastle. We all used to go outside of Newcastle and check on different time. Brother Nuaim, not this is Naim, the other Nuaim. So we all used to go and we take different time, times, and we see when the Salatul Fajr is starting. And then we made a note, and then we check, and we came and we see on what degree these timings are fixing. So I forget what was the degree, but the same degree we follow throughout the year. So what we did, the graph 8 months is available. We kept the same graph for the next 4 months as well. We didn't go to Makkah in this matter, we didn't go to the closest country. We just follow the same pattern which throughout the year was there. So that's why our Salatul Isha and Fajr is slightly longer, because we kept the same pattern. And in this regard, this pattern is more closer to the being correct than any other pattern. Why? Because 8 months, the distance between Salatul Maghrib and Isha, whatever is the difference coming, the same difference will remain in these 4 months which you don't see the signs of Salatul Isha and Salatul Fajr. So this is the difference. But if somebody is following Makkah, do I say he is wrong? No, I don't say he is wrong. If somebody has divided the night into 8, do I say he is wrong? No, I won't say. If somebody has done 6, I won't say. All of them are guess. All of them are guess. So nobody will challenge and say, no, this is the most correct. So for us, when we sat down, we were talking with many different brothers, we said, no, this is the best, because the whole pattern is coming, the graph is coming for 8 months, we'll carry on with the same graph for the next 4 months. So this was the most closest to the being correct. So that's why we just follow that pattern. What I would suggest, if you pray and you consider this masjid is your masjid, so you stick to this one. Not one day here and another day Makkah and another day another country, 20 minutes difference, eating extra. No. Whichever is your masjid, just stick to that one. And follow that masjid. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu, because your masjid has decided that is correct. If they know this all, and if they are not just blindly following, they genuinely believe that what they have, the formula is the most correct, then based on their intentions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there who will give the reward. So, but nobody can, in this matter especially, the salat time matter, because this is the guess. This is the guess. Because there is no indicator at all available. So, I hope I answer the question, and inshallah, may Allah, the longest Ramzan has gone, alhamdulillah. So now the short Ramzan will come, so may Allah make it easy. We'll take one more question if there is any. Anybody have one more question? Otherwise we'll stop here. Yes, sister.
You know how the Isha is quite long, and the students who want to go to school, how soon can they do the Isha prayer and Tilawah?
Okay, very good question sister asked. Because the students, it will be very difficult for them, and because Ramadan is coming during the school times now. So how soon they can do? Okay. Breaking the fast will remain the same time. We cannot change the breaking fast. Okay, it will remain same. Sheikh Albani rahmatullahi alayhi in 70s he visited UK in 70s, and he stayed here for a couple of months in London and Birmingham. And at that time he established Jamiat al-Hadith as well. He put the foundation for that one. And our masjid is one of the affiliation of that one. So what he did, this is the witness of Sheikh Sharifullah from Al-Bir Foundation, London, because he was with him. So he saw this all, and some of the people were combining to both salats. So what he gave at fatwa, the closest time, what he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made every salat on a different timing. Allah has made every salat on different timing. So what he said, after Maghrib, when you pray Maghrib, give around 20 minutes to half an hour, and then pray Isha. This is for those who are feeling or finding very difficult to stay up for Salatul Isha and stay up for Salatul Tarawih. So what he said, give around half an hour and then do it. So this is the fatwa of Sheikh Albani rahmatullah alayh. And this is not written anywhere, because this is the witnessed fatwa by Sheikh Sharifullah, the head of Al-Bir Foundation in London. So this will be the answer for the sister, inshallah. Okay. So we stop here. Thank you very much, and Jazakumullahu khaira. And from next week, it will be on Friday, inshallah. So instead of Thursday, we are going to have Friday. And next week we will go another topic after this one, inshallah. So I recommend all of you to be here and pass the message to others as well. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah grant all of us tawfiq, and whatever was the truth and the correct, it was from Allah, and whatever was the mistake or the wrong, it was from me and shaitan. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me for that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the effect of it from our hearts. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.